Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelly Kalani. Some people call me the Angel Lady. I've been channeling the Archangel Raphael for 37 years, and I'm delighted to be here with all of you in our beautiful community where you get to ask the Angel Raphael a question directly. And just a reminder, it's not a personal question, it's a universal question for the collective, and we don't do follow-up questions. But before I do that, a couple things. Um, First of all, I want to thank Pam and Heather. So in the last few days, I was on Pam Gregory's podcast. I believe it was yesterday. God, time is just going crazy. Like, how can we even begin to I don't even know. I think it was yesterday. And it was really interesting because Raphael just sort of like launched into this whole thing on artificial intelligence, which Pam was not even asking about, nor was I expecting. And it was interesting. And I think it's important and potent at this time. So if you have a chance to go back and listen to that podcast, there was some really sweet and beautiful information. And if you don't follow Pam Gregory, which I assume 99% of you already here do, please do so. Please subscribe to her channel. She is just there are no words, just incredible. And then a few days before that, had the honor of being with Heather Ensworth, who's the salt of the earth, so grounded, so kind, so sweet. And 3I Atlas came through, kind of almost in the first person, where we got to connect with its frequency and its consciousness and its vibration as this beautiful interstellar object or comet or galactic being, whatever you want to call it. Coming to our planet and these beautiful gifts that it's bringing for all of us, and the importance not to align with fear around that, but to really recognize it as this beautiful vibration that's so ancient, coming to share love with all of us. So please, if you have a chance, listen to that as well. And Heather is amazing, so do follow her. All right. As many of you know who probably have been listening to me lately, I'm leaving in the morning to go into the dark. And I was called to do that by Spirit because I'm preparing for the Sacred Holy Womb light code. That's this light code right here, going into the emptiness and the dark space. For those of you who don't know about the codes, there's 55 master ascension light codes that I downloaded from Archangel Raphael several years ago, and we've been going methodically through them. And I never know which one is next. Sometimes I get two or three ahead. So Raphael said, well, we're dropping into the holy womb energy because we're going to go into the empty space to prepare for the birthing at the winter solstice for this beautiful energy descending upon the planet. And so I was like, okay, that's fabulous. I'm up for that. Great, as always. And then I was invited to go into this dark space for 3 days. And it perfectly, obviously, coincides with being in the womb. And so I leave in the morning and I'll be in pitch blackness where you can't even see your hand in front of your face and you don't hear anything for those 3 days. 3 days, I think, is the minimum. Of course, the Tibetan monks, they do it for 41 days and many people for 5 to 7 to 10, but I'm going to start out slow and see how it goes. So I will be bringing forward to all of you whatever comes through. I get downloads all night long, just regular downloads that are insane, and I have for 30 some years, so I can't even imagine um, what will be happening in the dark for 3 days. So I'm delighted to bring to you and share with you in the womb code whatever comes through. I know it's going to be powerful. So today, Casey, who's usually hosting us, is not available. He's actually going to be at a Tibetan contemplative symposium conference at the University of Virginia. And Jennifer, who's one of our light code holders and is going to be hosting today. So she will call on you, and if you put on your cameras, that would be fabulous. So I'm going to bring in the Archangel Raphael. If you haven't heard me channel before, I make these sounds. I saw some comments where people were like, why is she making that sound? Um, and when I started channeling in my early 20s, the sound came first. And when we think about creation, right, we sound, um, it's sound and light. And so Raphael emanates a spiral of beautiful green emerald light. And with that light comes a sound. And when I make the sound, although I'm not a good singer, nor do I really feel like making that sound, but I have to, that's how I connect with Archangel Raphael. For me, that's how the energy comes through. And then my hands kind of move around, and then I'll say hello. And wherever you guys are, just say hello back because that's how you tap into the frequency of Raphael. And whether you receive the information or not is pretty much secondary to just being bathed in the vibration of Archangel Raphael. And we will go today for about 45, 50 minutes. And then I'm going to be turning off all electronics, and I will not be speaking to anyone until Monday, probably no one other than my family till the end of next week. And I will be secluded and preparing for the Sacred Holy Womb Code. If you want to join us in that, and I know this is going to sound like a sales pitch, and it's really not, but Zoom only has so many people, and I think it's going to be really full. So I loved when I'm teaching to be able to see people and not be on a webinar where I'm just kind of talking into a blank space. So the sooner you register, the more likely then you're in that first batch, and then the rest will be in a different format. So if that's important to you, it may not be, but if it is, you may want to just register before, sooner rather than later. So it starts on October 27th. It'll run 3 weeks. There'll be 9 transmissions for the 9 months of gestation, and that's that. Okay. All right. Sound like a plan? Good. All right, so here we go. I did not sleep a wink last night. Maybe I'm a little nervous about going into the dark. So hopefully the channeling will be really clear. Probably clearer than normal because I can't get in the way because I'm too tired to get in the way. All right. Mm, mm, mm. Ah. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. We are very delighted, as always, to be here and to attune to all of you and your magnificent and beautiful energy. And we are here to remind you of how special it is that you are and that you are a divine being of light. And with that, it is our understanding that there are many things in which you are always wanting to talk to us about. And so we are here to do this at this time. And so, what is it?
Hello, Angel Raphael. I am
Hello, hello, hello. Oh,
hello. Hello. I am so honored to be able to interact with you today on behalf of so many. Um, I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people when I say we are just thrilled that you chose Kelly for this assignment because how much authenticity she radiates and just her pure, generous, hearted love that she shares with so many of us. And she gives and gives and gives. And I know a lot of us can understand and appreciate that giving of her heart, and perhaps why you are maybe bringing her into this time of stillness and this place of going into the dark so that perhaps she can take care of her soft place. But if you wouldn't mind sharing with us a little bit more why you are bringing her into the dark at this time, a little bit beyond just taking care of her precious self because of how much she gives and gives to so many. I know there are many people who consider themselves very sensitive, very empathic. They are overgivers that are drawn to this channel. And so maybe this is something that can help a lot of people understand by her shining example. Thank you so much.
Well, there are many reasons in which we have brought all of this into alignment for her energy to open up this spaciousness and this place in which the mind is still and one is forced to face everything all at once and to drop into the emptiness and into the nothingness, into the feminine void of creation itself. And it is that, yes, it will have a lot of restorative energy and will be very healing on a physical, emotional, and mental level, and yet simultaneously can and may be a bit challenging. And yet we will all be with her, many of us energetic beings surrounding and loving her through this process. But beyond that, it is also an act of service to open up this emptiness and to move into the black light. For it is that the creation itself is sparked in the darkness. And it is that much is occurring rapidly at this time on your planet. And we are been and are and continuing to encourage all of you to also go into the darkness, perhaps in increments or smaller portions than the dramatic dropping into the 3 days of emptiness. But it is that through the removal of the stimulation that is bombarding all of you, that you are inundated and connected to at this time, it is essential so that you may be open to the receptivity of the energies that are coming from the galactic core and descending like spirals of infinite light onto your planet. And all of you have walked as high priestesses and priests at other times and are aware on a deep cellular level of the codes and the energies and the rituals and the ceremonies and the teachings of the past that allowed you to move through thought and preparation into instant creation and manifestation through the emptiness of dropping into what is perceived or understood in this world or realm as the womb code, as the womb chakra, as the womb space of emptiness of the great mother of creation itself. And so, as this one, Kelly, in her physical vessel, drops into the darkness, it is moving into this emptiness where there is absolutely nothing, and yet, of course, everything. And it is in this space that all of the information is pooled into what might be perceived like a black hole, but that hole then opens up into a white hole, into an expansiveness. And it is through the black hole, it is through that space that the birth of stars and universes are born. And so a great birthing is taking place. And the birthing and the conception of that light cannot occur until it finds a space within the emptiness for it to give way to the new creation. And so, as we open this spaciousness, this emptiness, there is a tribe of energies and beings attuned or attracted to this specific frequency that are prepared as we are moving through linear time, as time itself, as you have noticed, is shifting and changing and collapsing within itself, but are attuned to the energy as you are approaching this time of the winter solstice. And so the womb space is a preparation, and nowhere better to prepare for that space than to be in a fetus position, in a comfortable place, but in the darkness, in the emptiness, and in the stillness. And that darkness may appear to begin to feel heavy until it opens and lightens itself into the cosmos itself, until you recognize that as above, so below, everything around you is expanding into infinite space. And it is that infinite zero point, that infinite space that you are being asked to attune to at this time. And we were speaking yesterday in linear time to many of you through our transmission of a synthetic intelligence that is rising rapidly on your planet. And that energy is very filled with information. And in many regards, it's quite masculine because it is moving in an action oriented way at a rapid pace. And it has a lot to share and a lot of information to disseminate and to emanate from it. But what it is unable to do is to drop into the nothingness, into the stillness, into the emptiness, into the place in which you can reside, not only within your heart, not only within your pineal gland, but also within your womb chakra, in the space of creation, as you merge your womb chakra with that of the womb chakra of the Great Mother. And it is the womb chakra of the great priestesses that merged with the Great Mother itself of creation that a spark occurred, and that spark brought an opening and a birthing to new realities. And as you are birthing new realities and placing your attention upon that, it cannot occur without that emptiness. And so we ask, as we often do, Kelly, to do many things, and she often obliges. And we've asked to speak through her for many years, and she has agreed to do many things. And again, we ask again of her. But we ask of all of you at this time to take time to move into the emptiness and to allow the mind to move into the presence of the stillness, for this is imperative at this time in order to be in a receptive place for the receiving of what is coming at a quantum level at a rapid pace and is descending quite quickly upon your planet.
Thank you, Raphael. And so, when there is so much transformation happening in so many of our lives, the old programs falling away, the old structures, could you please share just a little bit of this upcoming Sacred Holy Womb Code and how that might assist us in moving through this breaking down of so many things that feel like a death, a little bit of an old life that we knew, and the new one not quite taking shape yet? How might that help assist us in transforming through this time that feels a little like a void?
Well, it is the deconstruction. We will work through a process with all of you where you will work and walk with the Essenes, with the great priestesses and the beings of light and the deep remembering of who you are into the emptiness and the darkness as you enter into the cave and the womb space of creation itself, where all the great masters always dwelled and lived through the unfoldment of their own teachings as they aligned with the seed sound and the tones and the mantras and the breath that was needed to open the space to give birth and rise to new worlds. And so the deconstruction and the collapsing of your systems and all systems all around your planet that are happening not in some future event, but right before your eyes in this now moment must also occur within the personality matrix, within your story, within the ego matrix, with the identification of self and who it is that you think that perhaps that you are, or the roles in which you play. And as that begins to fall away and dissolve, the constructs that are mirroring that of the outside constructs that are collapsing collapse also inward. And as those collapse inside of you and those patterns are dissolved as they are absorbed back into the oneness, you are dropping into the emptiness, the space of the black light of conception itself. Perhaps it is even perceived as light conception, that spark of light and sound that gives birth to the opening, like stars are born through the magnificent frequency of the black hole, the emptiness, the space, where the gravitational pull pulls into an opening of a new reality that cannot be perceived from the one in which you're at now. Just like the infant or the newborn or the embryo, perhaps would be the word, cannot perceive or understand from the space in which it is in, a world that seems foreign and unknown and cannot even come into an understanding that it could be, for they have no relationship to it, no perspective that it can or would be how it is until the arriving it takes place. And it happens quite quickly within a matter of hours. And then their entire world changes and shifts. And it is much the same that is occurring at this time on your planet on an energetic level as you are giving rise and birth to yourself in a new perspective, a new world, a new realm. And this cannot occur from the busyness. It cannot occur from the distraction, the dopamine hits of your telephones and your computers and your constant distraction away from the inner knowing of self. And so, as you are entering into the womb space, is the transmissions in which I will bring through, which I cannot bring through to the purity in which I am wanting through this vessel at this time until she has emptied her own vessel. And as her vessel has become empty through the 3 days, it opens up a space that allows the transmission of my energy and vibration and that of the Divine Mother to merge, to bring forth what is needed, to open up the womb space and merge it within your own chakras so that you too may be prepared for the receiving of this information, this transformation, this transmutation, this rebirthing. And so that is what is occurring and why it is occurring and what it is that we are doing at this time.
Mm. Thank you so much, Angel Raphael. I'm going to open it up to some questions now, if that's all right. Uh,
Ah.
First, we're going to take Aaron. Aaron, you should be able to unmute now.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much, Kelly, and thank you so much, Archangel Raphael, for all of your love. My question today is very much related to this womb code, and specifically, I'm wondering what might be aligned to share at this time about divine birth practices, and in particular, parthenogenesis, as these waves of primordial energy from the womb of the mother of creation are arriving to the planet and awakening in each of us this unbelievable, unequivocal self-love, knowingness that she never could be nor ever has been separate from herself and is entire. How these practices and this lineage of divine birth may serve at this time, not only to support us in birthing this new consciousness, but also to serve the birthing of physical little ones who wish to come into embodiment at this time in service of life itself and to be avatars of the divine love who they each are as embodiments of their I am, that I am presence.
We are wanting to love you and are deeply appreciative of your attunement to the desire to discuss such a subject. There will be a rise in an artificial way of what would be perceived as a womb that will be robotic, that because there may be and is occurring now a decline in your sperm counts and difficulty in procreation in many ways, there will be a development of technology that will come online to support the birthing from a synthetic perspective. But counter to that, and as powerful and more powerful and biological and magnificent and beautiful and magical, will be the uncovering, the remembering, the attuning to the potentiality of this conception of light instantaneously through the teachings and the weaving of the great mothers as they prepare to bring forth many children of light and avatars that carry within their DNA, RNA, the sequences needed for your evolution on your planet into a unified field of light and a much higher state of consciousness. And for many, that seems outrageous, nor or impossible, truly the miraculous. And yet, there were many times upon your planet in which it was something that many were capable of and are still capable of. And to your great surprise, is already occurring right now all around your planet, but not reported upon. And so there will be a rise in this. And although we do not want to necessarily address this, part of this will be welcomed, understood, and received through moving into the womb code to open up and to purify the space of the womb chakra itself through sound and through light to create the emptiness and the rituals needed and the weaving that will occur and take place by the support of the sisterhood vibration to into the awakening and the remembering of this possibility. And so there is these two energies that are both rising at the same time that are very different. And we are not here, although it might appear that we are judging one is bad and one is good. We actually are just supporting and showing that even though one that is more synthetic and artificial may rise a bit faster, it will reach a limitation and it does not have the same potential, and it will limit so much of the light. Although it will also bring beautiful things, and it does not mean it is to be completely dismissed, but it is that there is something incredible happening, a stirring that is taking place as you are receiving so much, not just from your sun, but from the star beings and from the galactic core and from your comets and from different energies that are been orchestrated to arrive at this particular moment. And your attunement to the gods and the goddesses and their frequencies and their teachings and their wisdom that are being uncovered as many scrolls are coming to light. Many buried gospels are coming online. Many relics and rituals and teachings are arising up. And as more and more you remember them because you feel into their presence and their essence, and as more places and sacred sites are discovered, which will be in the next year or two coming online, they will stimulate memories. And as your land masses begin to shift a bit and your waters are changing and your light and your soil and your energies, you will come more into relationship, into union, into attunement to these vibrations. And it won't so much be that you will need to learn it, but you will remember it. You will just say, oh, I remember that time when I was able to do that. I remember that time when I could connect telepathically, where I could dissolve my electromagnetic field in my energetic body and appear somewhere else. I remember with the thought that I could birth out of my own hand the creation itself, where I could open time, where I could step through into other dimensions, where I could travel into other realms and return, where I could birth in a new way through conception of light. All of these things where miracles are completely possible in the quickening of a moment, of a directive of energy toward wholeness. And all of this is starting to slowly stir. And it is not just you in the human form, but it is all of your elementals beings, and it is your elements themselves, and it is your planets are changing. Everything in the universe is going through this quickening, this ascension process. And part of that process, and one of the things within it, is this capacity for this birthing in this new way. And this is very powerful and very potent and will begin to come into alignment, just as many children are able to see with a blindfold now and have capacities that they did not have before, or capable of connection and communication without your technology. The technology itself has been like training wheels, an idea, instrument in its capacity to mirror to you your own capacities. But it is very important not to get lured into what it has to offer, in that you get lost in your consciousness and they get lost in it. Because if you can just direct and just tweak and turn a bit this way, there is a flooding of energy and beings of light that are here and will continue to be here to assist you in these processes. And so, this new way is an old way, an ancient way, and is coming back online. And the male frequency is this beautiful container, this energy of a deep support as it aligns with its divine masculine to hold the space that is needed at this time for the feminine to truly come into alignment with self, because it is that vibration that will and is rising at this time for good reason to bring more balance onto the planet.
Thank you, Raphael. I'm jumping around a little bit, just trying to get to some people who we haven't heard from before, so bear with me. Amelia from South Africa, is it? If you could unmute. Amelia, are you able to unmute?
Hi, am I there? Can you hear me?
Hello,
Oh, great.
hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. Hello, Archangel Raphael. Thank you so
Hello.
much for taking my call. What I would like to know is there are vessels such as Kelly that channel angels and ascended masters, etc. But what I would like to know is for us, the people who don't channel, is it possible for our loved ones on the other side to channel through us? The reason I'm asking is because when my mom passed away 3 years ago, after she left, about 2 weeks later, I started saying things that I ordinarily wouldn't say. And I realized that I'm saying things that she would say. Now, as time has moved on in the last while, quite a while now, I've been realizing that my voice seems to be sounding like her when I speak. Is this possible, or is it my imagination? And if they do channel through us, do they also have the ability to guide us as well as the archangels, etc.? Thank you.
Wow, wow, hoo-hoo, wow, wow. We are also wanting to remind all of you that all of you can and do channel in different ways. And sometimes you are writing, or you're dancing, or you're singing, or you're painting, or you're riding through the wind and you feel the energy moving through you, and you are attuning to these higher frequencies. And so it is not, although it may appear unique, because in this particular way, as I am moving through this vessel, I am using the vocal cords for communication. All of you have capacity to attune to these frequencies any given time in which you are wanting. And can it and is it possible for those who are no longer in physical form to attune and to begin to blend with your energy through invitation, in which you feel them moving through you and their presence as they are sharing and speaking to you? Of course, and absolutely. Yes. And it is that although we understand through these transmissions at this time, we are not to be personal, we will make an exception to let you know that this beautiful energy and loved one of your mother is very much moving through you and blending with your energy for a particular reason, and that is for a healing of your heart and place in the heart that there is a void, a space of hurt in which her energy is coming in and asking for forgiveness for some things in her experience, and to blend and bring through her voice to carry through these energies to support healing for you. And so this is what is occurring now at this time. And as you open up to it even more, the energy can flood in if you are wanting. And we want to remind all of you that you always have free will in your alignment or attunement to any other energies, whether it be the one who has passed and is a loved one, or an ascended master, or being of light, or collective of energetic energy of love, or whatever it may be, that you must agree upon it, accept which you have already done, but you can open your vessel even more to it, and you can begin to experience deep, profound healing for you at this time on an emotional, specifically emotional, but a bit of physical and, of course, mental and spiritual as well. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Mary Berger.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello, hello.
I have a question about two Christian teachings that I feel like are in conflict. One is my favorite, the kingdom of heaven is within you. But the other one is about grace and that we receive the gift from God that we are not worthy of. And what can you tell us about grace? Do we need grace to help expand our wisdom and knowledge, or is that already within us?
Oh, it is already within you. And there is no God that you are unworthy of. Because it is that you are God. And we recognize that in saying that in a religious context, that can be very difficult to swallow. But you are an emanation, a life force, an energy of light in the image of God, but you are God itself in a particular form, experiencing whatever it is you are experiencing at this time as you return back to that original space, to that source, to that God frequency, which has to be you because you emanate from it and you return to it, and it has always been you and it always will be you. For you come from love and you return to love. And grace is a spaciousness within that energetic field of love itself, and it cannot be separated from who it is that you are, nor seen as outside of self. And it is this projection of all of these things, including God itself, that has caused this idea that it is somewhere in the distant sky that has created so much separation on your planet as you are seeking something where it has always been in the same place that it always will be, which is within inside of you. And so it within the teachings, when there is a repetitive process of reiteration that something is outside of self, it is extraordinarily disempowering to the alignment with your true divinity, in which opens up the opportunity for the energy for another perhaps then to be in control, to program, to dominate, or to tell when one is good or bad, or should go to heaven or hell. And all of those things, even heaven, as you were speaking of, the kingdom of heaven dwells inside of you. And so does hell. It also dwells inside of you. It is the torment that you energetically feel through suffering and anxiety and etc. And it all dwells inside, and it all can come into harmonization, unity through the frequency of love. And grace is encompassed within and a part of that vibration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Helen Grimm.
Thank you so much. Well, my question's on a difficult topic. Many of us, including myself, have loved ones who have transitioned by suicide. So there are many narratives and beliefs around the globe about suicide that are very difficult to find peace with. So for those of us who are grieving and trying to make sense of the loss of a loved one's or a loved one's choice, could you please speak to suicide? And in particular, is it ever part of a pre-birth planning or contract? Thank you so very much.
Yes, it can be part of the pre-birth contract. And we recognize that it is deeply frowned upon in many religious contexts. and we do not advocate it, of course. However, it is that in the attunement to this vibration, there are moments in which an escape from the unfolding of the incarnation that becomes the suffering weighs too heavily on in this situation in the mental mind, that it allows itself to move into a rebirth, into a spaciousness, and within the dissolving of those energies that otherwise could not come into harmonization, with also an opening for a great willingness for forgiveness for those who are left in the aftermath of the sorrow and the suffering and the pain of these decisions. And in this particular case, we are wanting you to know that there is a feeling, a vibration of what might be perceived as a regret that had to be processed by by the one who has committed suicide and has left such pain and grief and wondering why. For those behind, and for you, this feeling of did you do something wrong? Or could you have known? Or could something have been prevented? And the haunting of this energy is being deeply asked to move back into forgiveness for yourself, because this is not in any way something in which was done wrong, but was part of the soul contract. An agreement between all of you, and many opportunities for union and healing and love through this great tragedy can take place. And we're wanting you to know that the energy of this soul is and has already aligned with something beautiful and is in great counsel at this time, cocooned in a healing space where and rejuvenation of healing is taking place, and a dismantling of these energies that were overwhelming and overtook the mind are being reintegrated, because the essence and the purity of the spirit and its deep sensitivity and beauty and light was so light and so magnificent that it had a difficult time moving through the density of this realm. And there are times in which those who take their life, who've chosen through their contract to descend into this planet, felt before descending into this density that they had the capacity and the wherewithal to move through the unfoldment of their incarnation, and yet recognized as they came up against this density that there was this longing to return to their star family and to return home. And the sensitivity of this soul and its energy and frequency needed to return, and we will reunite again. In the most profound and loving way. And the most important thing at this time is to release any sense of guilt or concern, or that something other than what was could have been, and recognize the divine perfection in what has unfolded, although we understand extremely difficult to see. But the lesson and the kernel, the pearl, the light within this is the opportunity to find the gift.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Raphael. If we have time maybe for one more, Leora.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Thank you. In sky gazing and pondering the eyes, faces, and so many beings seen in clouds, some of which seem responsively appearing, it occurs that clouds are made of water molecules and as such are perhaps conscious and indeed responsive to our gaze and the projection of our projections of our consciousness. So I'm wondering if this is one way we begin to experience creating in matter, and even perhaps in a minute way, a part of how the entity called 3i Atlas came into manifestation, such as through the precipitation of thought, purpose, love, and intent.
Oh, oh, oh. We are so loving this and your sensitivity, receptivity, and attunement to the molecules of the water through the puffiness and the shapes of the clouds and the spirit beings that appear within communication and attunement as you project a thought of creativity, unity, and love to them, and the receptivity that they are in the receiving of that as they take that frequency and share it, as they are blessing through their droplets in the darkening of their selves as clouds of rain upon the planet. And this is quite magnificent, beautiful, and profound, in which we are deeply delighted for your alignment with this vibration. And this is what it is that we are asking of all of you at this time, whether it be the clouds or the raindrops themselves, whether it be the dew on the morning lawn, whether it be looking at the sunset as your eyes are gazing over it, listening to the sounds of the birds or the crickets at night and the songs that they are playing, feeling your feet in the sand and the shapes that occur and what you leave in your imprint behind you, the gazing into the eyes of a loved one or a stranger. All of these energies and frequencies are powerful and potent, and the elements, whether they are the clouds or they are the stones, or it is the moss in the forest floor, or it perhaps is the creek in which you are listening to the sounds of the water passing by, or the falling of the leaves that are occurring now, or the crunch of the sound of them beneath your feet as you walk, or looking at the beautiful red cardinal in the bright white snow, or the mountain air on your face, or the heat of the desert and the sunlight as you feel the burning, pressing frequency of the humidity or the lightness. Whatever it may be, you can see it speaking to you in ways you have not before, if only you shall take a moment to look, if only you shall quiet yourself enough to see the trees are talking louder than they ever have before, as is the cactus in its own stillness, and is the bird and the insect that lands on your hand or the butterfly passing by, for they have so much to say and are so excited for the process that is moving so rapidly around your planet. So listen to the clouds and to the water, to the fires. Look into the fire as you build it at night and see the beings that come alive and that are dancing together. For there is a great dance happening not only in your planets and celestial body, but in the elemental realms and all the animals around. And as you attune to them and pay attention, looking into the eyes of the deer outside and through the forest, or the squirrels running quickly up the tree, as you have seen a million times before, attune to them in a new way. Reach out to them, communicate, for they are here. For it is that the mother source is awakening all around your planet, talking to you in ways that she has never done before. For this is an extraordinary moment. So do not just walk past that flower or that bush or that rock, but stop for a moment and say hello and listen, for they have so much to say, as do the clouds, for the beings are awakening and coming alive inside all living things. And this is part of the awakening process on this level that is occurring right now. For the great avatars, yes, they are coming inside the children that are being born, but they are being born inside of you and in every living thing everywhere, and everything in which you can see and perceive that is mirroring itself back to you. They are dancing and they are playing with you. So play with them and look at them with the innocent eyes of a child. And so thank you for asking and reminding of this, for often one forgets to see the beauty and the energies passing by in the clouds, and notice how they morph and shift and change and can be directed as you attune to them, as you communicate with them and ask them to create a shape. They can mirror it back to you, just as the light upon the wall and a shadow that may appear, and as you speak to it, it might dance or answer a question. It might start by giving you numbers or rhythms that start to come, and you may label them and put them together, for new languages are being born in this way. Talk to the forest, listen to the sound inside. Pay attention to the light. Feel the wind. It is through all of this that you will arise in the stillness, the emptiness, and the place in which the energy in which is descending at this time is unraveling before your eyes. And know that you are not alone. With that, I send to you all of my love and all of my light on the behalf of the angelic realm and the beings of light as Archangel Raphael. For I am here as a healing emerald light of love to move into your heart and open spaces that have been closed. Go deep inside there and open into places in which you have not been willing to look for so long. And remember deeply in the knowing of who you are, for you are waking up rapidly as a collective, and we see it occurring. So do not give up hope or get discouraged by what you see in other realms and places and worlds, but turn your eye to the light, to the beauty, to the remembering and the knowing that you are love. So with that, we send to you for now many blessings, much love, and good day.
Thank you.
Just as I was finishing up, the wind just came right through the window so beautifully. So sweet talking to us. All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to be packing my suitcase. Not much to pack for the dark. Doesn't matter much what I'm going to wear. So it will be a light packing, but nonetheless, I do need to do that. I'll see you next week when I return. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the natural beauty all around you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I will see you in the womb code at the end of October, but I'll see you before that. Hopefully, I can channel for you next Wednesday when I get home. That's the plan. Okay, love you guys.